What's up, gentlemen? So today I want to talk a little bit about why the average man is doomed. Because the other day I was on social media and I realized that I feel super inadequate when I open up these social media apps, whether or not it's YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I feel bad. I feel like I am not living up to my potential because I see all these other people and they're killing it. But it got me thinking, what is my potential and what is your potential? And really, this is the dictator of what your life is going to look like. How much of your potential are you able to extract? There's certain things about you that you are amazing at, or better than most people. And on the flip side, there's certain things about you that you're worse than most people. But the majority of your skills, the majority of your potential falls in the middle, right? The average. 20% you're bad at, 20% you're great at, 60% is right in the middle. It's the standard classic bell curve, right? Most of us fall in the middle at most things, right? The average. No matter how hard we try, no matter how hard we work, we will never, ever be the 1% because of our personal limitations. But that doesn't mean that we can't excel and overcome our mediocrity or our potential. And the problem comes is when we think that we should be extraordinary at everything. And when we try and we don't achieve it, we beat ourselves up and we feel like we're a failure, when the truth is that we've got to accept some of our limitations. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try and you shouldn't strive. Because when you strive to be better, this is where real growth happens. You may not reach that 1%, but being better than you are today should be the goal. And when you look back at your life, look back at the things that you've accomplished, it's better than you would have if you would have just accepted being average. And so for me, there were certain things that I wanted to be better at, right? There are certain things that we can control, certain things that we can do that will set us apart and be in the upper tier when it comes to dudes out there. For me, it was style. Right? The first thing I did from a young age was take ownership in my style. I knew that if I looked better than most people and dressed well and took care of my grooming, that I was going to be above a lot of people in terms of first impressions, right? And because I grew up without money, I was super insecure. And so I went to thrift stores, but I really focused and put emphasis on making sure that I looked the part. The second thing that I did that I could control was my body. Right? I could work out. I could control the way that my physique looked to a point. But I was never going to be 250 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. It wasn't in my potential. But I could be the best that I could be for me. And in the process, I could have a better body than most people. I could dress better than most people, but it's not going to be as good as some people. Does it mean that I'm a failure? Does it mean that I didn't succeed? The answer is of course not. And so when you really look at things like that, and you focus on the things that you can change and that you can work on to be better at, including relationships, including finances, including your body, including style, including grooming, and work ethic. Work ethic is one of the things that you can control. And I'm a firm believer that you can outwork somebody that has talent if they're lazy. You know, there are certain people that are going to just be gifted at certain things, whether or not it's making money, whether or not it's intelligence, whether or not it's their physique, their athletic performance, like with women, like whatever, right? There are certain people that are gifted at certain things. But you and me, the average man, when it comes to most things, we can work our ass off and be disciplined and put the time, put the effort, put the emphasis on these aspects and work to make ourselves better. It may not mean that we ever get to be that 1% and better than everybody else, but does it matter? Should that be the goal? I'm here today to tell you it shouldn't. You should focus on you. And once you accept the fact that we were not all built to be entrepreneurs, we're not all built to be billionaires, right? That's okay. It should not be the goal for everybody. It's impossible. And when you make these extraordinary things, or what you see on social media, when you make these the goal and the benchmark and the measure of success, you're never going to reach it and you're always going to feel bad about yourself. The amount of pressure that we as men feel to be amazing at everything is overwhelming. It's stifling. But once you can shed this and realize that it isn't about other people, it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter how they achieve what they achieve. And when you decide that you're going to focus on you and do what you can to build yourself and make yourself better than you are in certain areas of your life and focus and work on it, gentlemen, everything in your life is going to get better, and it's freeing, it's liberating. And this is the point at which you are going to exceed and excel in terms of your expectations of yourself, not to mention your potential. It's about choosing to measure your potential from where you were starting from and where you got to. Where were you yesterday? Measure from that place. Right? Have you grown? Have you achieved? Have you grown better than you were? Have you outkicked your coverage? And if the answer is yes, congratulations. It doesn't mean that you need to be a billionaire. It doesn't mean that you need to be banging 2,700 women. It doesn't mean you need to drive a Lambo or have a Rolex watch. Where were you starting from? Where have you got to? Is it something you are going to continue to invest in? Because I tell you something, if you do, you're going to get even better. But do not beat yourself up for not being the best, the most perfect, the most amazing dude. If you do, if that is your vision of what success looks like, you are doomed. Because the truth is that most of us are starting from average.